Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Creators Inspire series. This is your host, Terry Shaw. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. So, today we're going to be speaking with Heather Guernsey. I hope I said her last name correctly, and she can correct me when it's time. Hi, Heather. She just joined the live from Soul Path Energy Healing. Thank you, Anthony, for joining in as well. Heather is the founder and CEO of Soul Path Energy Healing, and she's amazing. She's based in Maine, USA, and she is also a certified emotion code practitioner. So we're gonna have Heather jump on the live so we can all discuss about what is emotion, the emotion code, and how can we use it, and how did Heather get into using the emotion code to help others. So let's begin. So, we're waiting for Heather to join in. Hi, can you hear me? Hold on one second. I don't know why I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Hi, everyone joining in, serving Dave in Las Vegas, suppose Las Vegas. And then we have Bella Bounce. Hi, Bella Bounce. Sand in my shadies. I like that. Sand in my shades. Let's wait for Heather to join in. We're only joining in with Heather. So let's go. I see someone else trying to join in the live as well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you. I can hear you. Hi, Bella Bounce. Yes, I remember you from Zencation retreats.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How are you, Heather? Thank you for joining today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm great. I'm great. It's been a good week. Back in like the flow of things after the holidays finally. So, how are
That's
you?
awesome. I'm doing good. I cannot complain. I'm back to writing and I'm
Good.
so happy. I'm working on my next book and I'm just so excited about it. And I'll share more details later on, but
Oh
for
yeah.
now it's just in its draft stage and I just can't wait for it to, be released. Yes, Belle, I remember you too. She said she
I
remember
do.
both of
Yes.
them.
Yay.
So today, Heather, I want you to share with everyone about the emotion code because
Yeah.
I've tried it and I can tell you anyone who's ever, been to Heather, this is the first time I learned about the emotion code. I've heard of it, but I didn't understand what it was until I met Heather and I tried it. I had 3 sessions with her and, I wasn't sure. It's just kind of, it's like Reiki, but on a whole nother level. And so Heather's going to go into what that is, how did she get started into the emotion code, and how does it help others to grow?
Yeah. Thank you. So, I guess I'll just start with how I came upon it. I'm one of the lucky, hippies that had like holistic parents. And so my mom told me about the book years ago. And I think I read it maybe twice, which is unusual for me with a book, if you know me at all. And I read it twice and then just forgot about it. And I have been a performer my whole life. So I was living in Vegas and doing that whole lifestyle for a while. And then I hit my lifetime low basically about a year and a half ago, or as the healer, spiritual healer people tend to call it, our dark night of the soul.
Yes.
And, I know you and I have talked about this, but I basically had my heart smashed by the person I think was my twin flame.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in a job that was literally making me depressed. Like, I mean, it was a combination of things, but I dreaded going in there and working with these women every day. I was just unhappy in every single area of my life, which is very unusual for me because I'm happy-go-lucky. I love making people laugh. Like, it was just not me. So I was like, finally, I just snapped and I was like, what do I have to do? My whole family's on the East Coast. I hate being so far away. So I was like, my lease ends in March, this past March. And I was like, that's going to be my date. And I kind of set that when I started working with a life coach. So I got myself a life coach and a certified emotion code, body code practitioner, and made the changes because that's what you have to do in order to change your life, you know. And so I started working with a life coach for more of like the, you know, adding healthy new habits and goal setting techniques and stuff. And then I worked with the emotion code practitioner over the phone for 20 minutes. And I was like, I got to reread this book. And I'm just curious. I feel like maybe I need some emotional clearing too. So I was skeptical to do it remotely. I was like, I don't know. I kind of had an experience with that like sometime in college, and I didn't feel like I got much out of it, but I think I was pretty closed off and not, you know, open to really receiving it. But this man, his name is Emmanuel Zavaios, and he's one of the top emotion code, body code practitioners, I think, in the world at this point. He was able to clear my hip pain, which was like a dull throbbing thing that I'd had going on for almost a year, in a 20-minute session over the phone. Like, and it turns out I was storing all of my breakup and man baggage basically in my right hip capsule. And I was just like, my chiropractor's been working on this for a year. I've been icing and heating and doing all these things that, you know, a broken dancer does. And he just was able to take my pain from a 7 to 0 in 20 minutes over the phone. And I could feel the tingles and I could feel the things as we were going along. But that's when I was like, oh, where can I sign on the dotted line? Like, this is amazing. I want to be doing this. So that was kind of my, like, how I stumbled into it and like, had my first real experience with it, and was like, yeah, I want to get certified in this and help people because it's amazing. So yeah.
That sounds like a book. That sounds like a book you have going.
I know. Yeah. I could write a whole book.
Consider that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like I've lived different, like, you know, my life has been so not so like atypical, like ballerina to being a showgirl to, you know, energy healer. What else is weird that I could do? You know, it's like,
there's nothing weird. You know, I always say there's nothing weird in what we do. You know, we're always expanded, always growing. And sometimes we think one path is the only path we will take in life. And then suddenly another path comes up and say, wait, I can probably do this. And this is what, you know, connecting to that multi-universe levels of yourself. There's so many different things that you can do. But if only you put the time and effort into it, you'd be surprised at your own self what you can accomplish. Oh, so, you know, ballerina to, what was it? You were in Vegas?
Yeah, I was in one of the last standing classic showgirl show on the Strip called Jubilee. I was in that for a couple of years. That's what brought me up there.
I didn't even know any of this.
Yeah. What a life.
Yes, that's so good when you reconnect with people. Like, wait, I didn't know you did all of that. Yeah. It's good to know you did that as well. So, you know, with the whole emotion code, can you explain to everyone what exactly is the emotion code and how do you use it? Is it something that only a practitioner can do, or is it something that you can incorporate in your daily life? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so I always recommend the book to people as a starting place. It's called The Emotion Code, written by Dr. Bradley Nelson. It's available as an audio book and an ebook if you don't want to buy the physical book. And it's really cool because the book itself is chock full of testimonials, and you can actually learn, excuse me, you can learn how to do it just from reading the book. You can't charge people for it. Technically, they want you to go through the whole certification and learn all the details to do that. But if you just want to work on your family and your friends and yourself to really like start to heal these past traumas and stuff, it's the best place to start. The way that it works is I always refer to it as like an organized form of energy healing, because it's very like, it's different than Reiki because we're pinpointing things very specifically. And that's what kind of, I was like, wow, this is so trippy. Basically, they teach muscle testing. I, as you know, use my pendulum to get answers, which I got out of sheer skepticism originally, but it works. So we basically, if we were muscle testing, you know, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, chiropractors use it. It's a method that's been used for years. And, you know, so like if I were working with you, Terry, and we were in person, I would say, hold out your arm and I'm going to press down, you resist and say, my name is Terry. And so we would do that. And you would say, my name is Terry, and your arm would stay strong. Then we would do it again. And you would say, my name is Bob, resist me the same amount, only this time your arm's going to go down way easily because your subconscious knows that you're lying, basically. So that's how we get the yes, no answers from the subconscious. So the emotion code has a chart, and it's 2 columns, 6 rows, and a bunch of negative emotions. And through the yes no questioning, we get the emotion and then at what age it got stuck. So then normally, if I say, okay, we're getting a feeling of abandonment at age 2 or whatever, the person might be like, oh yeah, that's when my mom had to bring me to foster care, or whatever the case may be. And then so consciously we've pulled it. And then the way that we clear it is by running a magnet over the governing meridian. And the meridians are the energy pathways in our bodies that are used in acupuncture and all kinds of different energy healings. And energy can't be created or destroyed. So what we're doing is moving it essentially out of our field, out of our physical body, so that it's no longer contributing to whatever issue, which you wouldn't believe like what these things can contribute to. It's like emotional issues, mental issues, physical issues, like my hip. It's just so much of what we suffer from has an emotional root, and this just like yanks it right out. It's great.
Absolutely. And I've experienced this, and I've come to you. I've actually done my sessions with Heather,
Yes.
and I saw profound changes. Like, I was so stuck and I wasn't sure where to go. And I can tell you, after doing those sessions, and a lot of things come up, and it was kind of sometimes difficult to deal with, because when we're trying to work through our emotions, it's important that we have support. And Heather was one of my support during that time. But I also had to learn to support my own self in dealing with those emotions. And once I saw them coming up, I became gentle with myself and said, you know what? They don't have any power over me. The reason why I did that is so that I can move on from them. And they're not entirely moved like in overnight, but
Right.
Layers by layers, you're going down to the root causes of what may have happened, and you're learning to let it go slowly, slowly but surely, basically.
Yeah.
So the emotion code, though, the book you said is by Bradley Nelson.
Yep.
Dr. Bradley Nelson. Okay. Now, with your experience with the emotion code, have you ever had a time where I know you're actually getting an answer from the other person when you ask them a question, like, did this affect you or not? Have you ever gotten to someone who's like completely blocked, where everything is, their subconscious mind is so in denial of what may have happened to them at a specific age, like they kind of refute the whole emotion code. They didn't come in open at all. Because, that happens in Reiki, and I'm also a Reiki practitioner. So I know there are people who are completely blocked and they don't realize that they're blocked, but they're here for help.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that?
I think it may have only been one time, actually. It's interesting because when we're having a conversation with a subconscious, and I'm essentially acting as surrogate, like when I'm tapped in remotely, sometimes it's just a matter of flipping the words and twisting them to be so specific, and that we're almost like tricking the subconscious into giving us the answers. So for example, like when we're working with the emotion code, sometimes I get it down to the column and the row, and then I go through all the emotions in that box, and it's like I get a no, 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 and I'm thinking, okay, so then what? So then we ask, is this a hidden emotion? And then that emotion shows itself, because it's no longer hidden. Like, it's literally playing hide and go seek with these. It's so ridiculous sometimes. So, and then we'll, be able to figure it out. But I was actually on a live doing a demo, and I was able to tap into her field, and we cleared one thing. And I could tell that this was a person who I would like to work quite, frequently with if she was interested. And I went to clear a second emotion, and I asked if she had any more trapped emotions, and it was a yes. And then I asked if we could release any more right now. And it was like the pendulum was swinging. It was like, hell no, like not today. And I was like, oh my God, what? And so I asked if it was safe, I think, and I got a yes. And so I was like, okay, go back to like, think about all the emotion code training. Like, how could I phrase a question so that we could get through in a safe way to help this girl? And I think what I ended up asking was, are there any trapped emotions that are standing in the way of me releasing the other trapped emotions that we can clear right now? And then I got it. Then I got a clear yes. And it was, oh my God, it resonated so much. I have my chart here. It was, God, I don't remember. It was something that totally added up, like maybe a lack of worthiness or something.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
who am I to be receiving this healing, kind of thing. And it just
Oh,
blew my
yeah.
mind. And then we cleared it, and then I was able to get to the other emotions. So it's
Yeah.
really wild when that happens.
And wow, I can imagine like for you on the other end of being, as you said, the surrogate, and you're trying to help this person, and you have to intuitively kind of figure out the questions to ask,
Yeah,
how you can better, assist this person or help this person because, as I always say with healing, it's a two-way street. Like
yeah.
someone coming in, trying to receive healing, they have to be open to it as well.
Hmm.
And as much as you try, and as much, and I always say this to people, as much as you try to help other people and try to, show them that they need healing, and they say, yes, I want to do it. If they say yes outright just by words, it doesn't really mean anything. They have to feel that they really need the healing. And
Hmm.
so, that's thank you for sharing that because
Yeah,
I find that to be something, as a practitioner, you're going to encounter people who are like so closed off. They
hmm,
want to heal it, but their subconscious mind is so powerful, it blocks them from the healing.
yeah,
They're gonna have to go through and clear all of that.
yeah.
So
And
yeah.
the other thing that made me think of too is that I've worked with several people now, and this is more common than maybe what we were just
Mhm.
talking about, but where the conscious mind has completely blocked things out because of trauma, where
Mhm.
people have these memory gaps of a year, 3 years, 6 months, whatever the case may be. And it's like, when you go through something that is so traumatic, it's your body's way of protecting you in that moment, kind of. And
Mhm.
it contributes to the heart walls, which are the energetic walls that we break down to the
Yes.
emotion code. But I remember I had one client who expressed to me that she had I think a psychic reading with someone, and they told her that all these terrible things happened to her between this age and this age, and she got so mad because she's like, I don't remember that age, and who's this like random person telling me all this horrible stuff? And then
Mhm.
because that woman had like brought it to surface in her, but hadn't like offered the healing, which is not the best way to go about this,
Yes,
obviously.
exactly.
It started like she started to have flashbacks, and the memories started to come in a little. So then she sought out another healer and worked with them, and then she found me. And then we were able to do a couple of things, and I didn't know any of this at the time, and the things I were pulling were all within that period. And that's when she opened up and was like, I don't really have full memory of what was going on at the time, but it's been told to me, and like blips are coming back of like these terrible things that I was dealing with.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really wild what the mind will do for us.
Yes, absolutely. Especially when we're a child, where sometimes most of our traumas are stored. It could be,
Yeah.
you said, one of the common things that even came up in my own session with you was abandonment issues, like
Yeah.
not feeling wanted, abandonment issues and things that I've also went through. And I've kind of suppressed that over the years until one day it just all came spirit up like a
Yeah.
dirty fountain that hasn't been cleaned for
Yeah.
years.
That's what happens.
And I at first I was beating myself up about it, but then after a while I said, no, it's coming up for a reason to be cleared.
Yeah.
Everything that happens to our bodies, like whether we feel sick or we're going through any dis-ease, like disease,
Right.
dis-ease,
Yep. Yep.
it's always our body way of telling you, like, okay, you're trying to grow, you're trying to expand. There's, this is no longer serving you. This has to go. But for
Yeah.
it to go, we're gonna have to go through a little bit of a levels here
Yeah.
and whatnot. Now, I want to ask you for yourself, being on the healing end, and it's very important when you're working with energy to also protect yourself. After doing a session, does it affect you, like when you're trying to heal someone else? Like, how does it affect you and your emotions? Because I can imagine you tried to work with different people so many different times, and you feel yourself tense, and like
Yeah.
you have to you have to try to like breathe and calm. And
Yeah.
most people who are energy healers are very sensitive.
Yeah.
um, One of the reasons why I don't do Reiki much is because I'm super sensitive,
Yeah.
and I'm just so protective of my energy because of that.
Mhm.
So, how do you feel after a session when you do?
That's a great question, and it's something that I've had to learn and grow with. So initially when I started working on people, I would notice I would be exhausted afterwards. And with the emotion code, you know, the way that you're taught to disconnect is to just muscle test with your own name. My name is Heather. No, my name is Heather. No, my name is Heather. Yes. Okay. We're disconnected. But it's not enough when you keep leveling up. And I do my own healing. Like I trade sessions with healers all the time. So I'm constantly peeling back layers, which is busting open my third eye, which is giving me all kinds of crazy visions and stuff when I work on people now. But with that, with my leveling up, you know, I was initially taught, and my practitioner initially gave me like an energy shield. And so I was working with that for months and months. And then I realized I started to maybe like 3 or 4 months ago now, I hit this time period where I was exhausted after every single session. I tried to clear and I tried to visualize unplugging and you know, I have my crystals but it wasn't enough. And so then I worked with a theta healer. His name is Arshad. He lives in Trinidad. And he told me, he's like, you are like, you know, a healer and you are capable of so much. You don't need protection. You need the ability to transmute what you're taking on and clear it yourself, because he's like, essentially you're acting as a shaman right now. You're taking on everyone's crap and but you're not doing the rituals of like clearing. And so I think he was saying I may have had like shamanic tendencies from past lives or a, you know, past life vow or something. And so he's like, just imagine return to sender, send it back to Mother Gaia, send it back to the ethers, the powers that be. So now I have this visual where I'm like, I stopped thanking the universe for protection and started thanking it for letting me not permanently take on anyone's emotions that are not mine to absorb, and for enabling me to have the ability to transmute it. So between every session now, I imagine this visual just came to me and it works really well. You know, in a copy machine, that bright light that goes across.
Yes.
Coffee. I think of that like from the crown, and I like breathe in, and on every exhale, I imagine that coming down, and everything is just white light, and everything dark is underneath, and it gets pushed down, however many breaths it takes, all the way out the bottoms of my feet. And then I always cough. I cough it out at the bottom of my feet and return to sender, and then I just let the energy flow back in, and it works. Like it's really made a difference. So sorry, that was a very long-winded answer.
That's perfectly fine, and that's actually what they teach you in Reiki as well. Before you work on anyone. You know, it involves a lot of transmuted energy through your body going to that person, to your hand. You know, when I used to do Reiki, I was transmuting energy, but I didn't ask for one thing. It should come right through me, and because with Reiki, you're healing yourself and also healing that person.
Yeah.
So if you send energy, you're sending your own energy to that person, and it also drains you. Yeah. It's important to visualize a light coming from somewhere else through you to that person, and then going away from you. Yeah. So it's always a work in progress.
Yes,
you try to do more, and then you get better at it. But in the first few times, like, you know, as you said with the emotion code, it can become overwhelming, and you're trying to like get rid of it, and it can feel like your anxiety and a lot of things are coming up as well.
Yeah.
So also share with anyone, do you have any special sessions that are going on that, you know, anyone who's interested in the emotion code can use? As I said, everyone, I've tried the emotion code. I did 3 sessions with Heather. She's very affordable, very reasonable, and she works with your schedule. And, you know, she's very, confidentiality is super important to her. Yes. Unless you decide to if you want to do a live session or something to share with others, she's very respectful in that nature. So, yes, everyone. So please, Heather, share.
Thank you. For anyone who wants to follow my Instagram page, it's soulpath_energy healing. And for anyone that follows me, I automatically send a $15 off of my trial week intensive. And I always think that's a great place for people to start, because it includes, so it's I think it's $132. So after minus the 15, it's 117, which is only $2 more than a single session would be, but you're getting a whole little package. So you get the 45-minute session, the motion code session with me, an oracle card reading, 2 journaling prompts to kind of help you during the processing period, and a 5th-day plan of action call, as well as electronic follow-up with me on all those days. So it's just a great way to really get to experience the work firsthand, make sure we vibe well together before investing, because I know for a lot of people it's, you know, it's hard to invest in themselves. So Yeah.
And why
Yeah.
is that? Why is it so hard for us to invest in ourselves? But yes, we go and we invest in $12.99 a month on Netflix and,
I
and
know.
Hulu and all these different things. We have subscriptions to all the magazines, and but when it comes to like really working ourselves, this is kind of what my next book is about
Mm,
how we neglect and we take care of everyone else except for ourselves.
right.
And that's so important to really invest in yourself and realize that, you go through this day, take on so much different stuff that comes up, bombardment of information from
Yeah.
everywhere, social media, from home, from work. But we don't cleanse this on a daily basis. We have to cleanse this.
Yeah.
So, to feel like at our optimal level. So
Yeah.
are we going out? But,
It's
yeah.
self-worth.
It is. So please, everyone, reach out to Heather. I put her Instagram page here at soulpath_energy healing. And do you have a website as well? Did I
I
hear a website?
do. Yeah, it's just soulpathenergyhealing.com.
Okay. Okay. So it's the same as the Instagram page without the underscore .com, everyone.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, Heather, for sharing. It
Yeah.
was so wonderful to speak to you, and I would love to have you back on the show to probably do a live session
Yeah,
because
demo.
and I would like you to do one with me because I will be invested in again in doing that because I feel it's something that you can constantly do, to constantly clear your energy.
Yeah,
And yeah, I look forward to it. And
I
thank
would
you.
love to. Thank you so much for having me, Terry. I appreciate you and adore you, and oh, so great to connect. All
Thank you, you too.
right.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. That was so lovely. I'm so grateful to always meet these beautiful people from all over the world. Heather is one of them. And, visit at soulpath_energy healing on Instagram. You can check out her live sessions. I'm on one of the live sessions and I hold nothing back because my life is an open book anyway. So it's whatever. But it's all about the healing within you, investing in yourself, investing in, transforming your mind, your body, and not your soul, because your soul is already perfect. You just need to reconnect with that part of yourself, right? So take care and have a beautiful Sunday. We'll come back here on February 14th, actually. February 14th, we'll be with Tracy Trotman. She's a baker and she will be, debuting some of her little treats for, those Valentine's Day, anyone who likes Valentine's Day treats and whatnot. So we thank you and take care. Be safe.